Shannon, I got to ask you the topic of the show. How sad have you ever been?
Actually, I've never been sad.
You can't make it so sad. It's a ray of sunshine.
Hello, and welcome to the Chris Gethard Presents podcast. I suppose we're still calling it like a mini podcast, sidecast.
We're not the Chris Gethard Presents podcast.
No, this is the Trash People mini podcast, side pod about the Chris Gethard Presents show.
We've been calling them CGP mini-sodes on the feed.
Well, welcome to another mini-sode about CGP. We're excited. I'm Emily Pineapple.
And I'm Forrest, the keeper of the Canon.
And we're excited today to talk about Christi Chiello, who is going to be on the next episode of CGP on July 10th, 2019. Watch it at chrisgeth.com/live.
Yes, or on MNN.
Sweet. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about Christi Chiello. If you've been listening to the actual Chris Gethard Show Presents podcast, I can't say it right. I don't know what's wrong with me.
I it's just years of saying the Chris Gethard Show. So saying Chris Gethard Presents, saying Chris Gethard blank for something that airs on MNN with Chris Gethard on it, it feels weird that it's not the Chris Gethard Show, but it's Chris Gethard Presents.
Well, if you've been listening to the podcast companion to that show, you've heard Christi Chiello twice. Has she not been on all three?
No, she wasn't on episode 2.
She was on the second episode, she was on the first episode, and then she was on the third episode, and she's really just super fun, and you'll know exactly which one she is because she has the super high lady baby voice, like Maria Bamford. Are you laughing at lady baby voice?
Yeah, no, not like it's
not bad.
No. But
it's
just
distinctive.
I think it's just the like the phrase "lady baby voice." It kind of sounds like a vocal warm up. Lady baby voice, lady baby voice,
lady
red
baby
leather,
voice,
yellow
lady
leather,
baby
lady
voice.
baby voice. That's why it was funny to me. It was like just the like actual syllables of lady baby voice.
Great. Well, now that we've started off by making ourselves laugh, we're going to talk to you about this person who's going to come and make everybody laugh this Wednesday, Christi Chiello. Christi Chiello is a comedian, actress, and voiceover artist based in New York City. Also, this is the bio that's on her website. That's where we got this bio.
Yes.
And she's a stand-up in New York, primarily. So we don't have nearly as many things to review. But okay, let me just get started. Let me just tell you all a little bit about Christi Chiello. Christi Chiello is a comedian, actress, and voiceover artist based in New York City. She made her Comedy Central debut on Jeff Ross Presents Roast Battle opposite legend Jimmy Carr. She was named a new face of comedy at the International Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in 2017. You would think for the amount of times that I practiced this bio, I wouldn't have this many problems saying it, would you?
I have heard you say this quite a bit in various voices.
Yeah, no, just practicing, just trying out different ways. And this is the recorded way, the way in which I fail many, many times.
You're just losing well.
I'm just losing well. I'm losing well, everyone. It was a choice. This is a choice. She was named a new face of comedy at the International Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in 2017, has appeared on Rachel Dratch's Late Night Snack, Comedy Knockout on True TV, and has played various roles on IFC's Comedy Crib. She co-hosts a popular live show, Battle of the Divas, with Matteo Lane, and performs stand-up almost every night in venues all over New York. Christi wrote and stars in It's Krusty Batch, a one-woman show currently at Joe's Pub. Who am I? I've heard someone say it's Christi Bitch in that voice before, but I don't know who it is.
You have?
Oh yeah, like somebody.
I don't think I've heard anyone say. I remember. I mean, I know about it's Britney, bitch.
But like, it's Christi, bitch. Or like, it's Britney, bitch. Like in a dumbass teen voice.
I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, well, as long as we're drawing blanks, we'll just say that I came up with it and it's extremely funny. It's a one-woman show currently at Joe's Pub. It's been featured in the New York Times, was hailed a must-see comedy event by Time Out New York, and toured New York and nationally at Ars Nova, Dynasty Typewriter, the Good Company Theater, and Wage House Improv Theater.
Good comedy theater.
Good Comedy Theater, Wage House Improv Theater. She's also starring in her own public access show on MNN presented by Chris Gethard. Woo! She put that on her bio on her website.
I'm so excited that she's excited.
Right?
Like, it's so cool. It's so cool that that's like in her official bio.
It's like she's making it for us. Like, she's excited to be making something cool for us. So that makes me really excited to see that cool thing. You can hear her as Baby Saffron in Pinkalicious and Peterific on PBS Kids, and see her in national television commercials for IKEA. And you can follow her online on all platforms at Christi Chiello, and subscribe at youtube.com/The Christi Chiello. That's ChristiChiello.
And on top of all that, Gethard has a really good quote about Christi from his post-mortem interview with Brett Davis about the end of the Chris Gethard show. He was asked who are some comedians that he really is excited about and thinks will be great. And he named Christi as one of them and said, Christi Chiello is someone who I always thought was really funny. I knew her through stuff she did on the special. She did a bunch of stuff with Lorelai Ramirez, who's also great. And then I saw her on Roast Battle, and I was like, whoa, she's taking some of these dudes apart. That's always been a big indicator to me of when someone's about to pop out of NY, is when they can do stuff as versatile as a one-woman show at Ars Nova, but also go take on some aggressive dudes in a roast battle. That versatility always stands out. And I think that this is me now, not Chris Gethard anymore, but I think that versatility is like a huge part of what makes her so good, is because she does not hold back or pull any punches. That's the thing I was looking for.
Oh yeah.
On the roast battles, like she goes for it, and yet you have some of the cute stuff, like some of the PBS Kids show that she's on.
Oh yeah.
It seems like such a very cute, nice show, but then also some of her own material is very light and friendly, and then some of it is just very thirsty or very mean, and it's the whole spectrum.
All the colors of the rainbow, not just blue or pink. Yeah. So she coined the term Papa-Geth, which left Gethard less than thrilled, as he's mentioned on the podcast.
Christi pitched Coochie Creek as being a very horny experience that's also a little transcendent on CGP the Podcast episode 3. And on episode 1 of CGP, she called Coochie Creek a horny good time which involves Britney Spears and my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Those descriptions are so good.
I'm always here for something with Britney Spears and somebody's Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
And I think like before we looked at her past work, I didn't really know what that meant, but I feel like having seen her comedic persona in her videos and her stand-up, I'm like, oh yeah, no, that is the thing that makes total sense as how her persona would translate to CGP.
Mm-hmm. Her frequent collaborators, as we have been able to find them on the internet. Once again, we're not Random Gene. We're not good at this. It's Petey DeBreo, who co-hosts White Chocolate with Christi, which is what is that? Just like a stand-up showcase?
It's a showcase that they've done, and we can't find clips from any of the other comedians, but we found clips of them hosting, and we're going to include one in the show notes from I think it was from
one of the years.
One of those years.
Yeah, so they were part of the New York Comedy Festival in 2018, and our favorite quote from one of the ones that we watched is that they've been called Tracy Morgan and a squeak toy. Yeah.
And she delivered that, I think.
Yeah, she delivered
Like,
that way better than I just did.
But her self-deprecating humor is just so good.
It is excellent. Which she said in the first episode of CGP that's why she's so good at roast battles, because you have to anticipate.
Right, yeah. No, that makes sense. I mean, she definitely kills it every time.
Oh, yeah.
Another frequent collaborator of hers who we've already mentioned is Matteo Lane, who co-hosts the Battle of the Divas with her. And is in, what was it called? It was in one of the Comedy Crib shows that we're going to talk about, Janice and Jeffrey, which he co-created along with Molly Merkel.
Very cool. Her previous work, let's just start talking about it. One cool thing that we know from the CGP podcast companion is that she was a classically trained actress. She did theater.
Yeah, that was in CGP episode 3. Which I think I always love when comedians can bring that training into what they do. And then she's been doing stand-up since at least 2011. Yeah. Because one of the old videos on her YouTube channel, actually the oldest video, is a stand-up clip from 2011 at Comic Strip Live, which is a comedy club in New York City. And it's a lot of they're good. They're good sort of set them up, knock them down jokes. I really liked that clip. And it's interesting to see her develop from there, which is already at a strong point, to where she is now, and see some of the through lines connecting all that.
Definitely. And seeing how some of her more storytelling factors into her, knock 'em down sensibilities.
Yeah.
She was on the special without Brett Davis, which Gethard mentioned in his quote. She appears as Holly Harper in the episodes Freakman's Court and the Faculty Talent Show, and played Shannon O'Neill in the episode The Chris Gethard Show. You actually watched this one. I don't know why I didn't watch this one.
Her Shannon is hilarious. The thing that stuck with me the most is her introduction, because until she gets the microphone, she's like doing a lot of Shannon poses, like crossed arms, like perfectly, like nailing it.
Like sitting low in her seat.
Yeah.
Like man spreading.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. And then as soon as the microphone gets to her, she's Christi. She sounds like herself. She doesn't really even it's exaggerated even. Like she exaggerates her voice a little bit and completely is not Shannon. And is just like a bubbly, happy, giggly person. And it's just like that dichotomy is so perfect because it's so like, I could do that character, the character the way you're expecting.
I mean, she had some Shannon lines I heard from across
the
room.
The lines themselves were Shannon-y.
It was like, I've never been afraid in my life, but delivered like, I've never been afraid in my life.
Like that was the best part. It was like on paper, she was Shannon, but then she turned it into her own spin to like heighten the unreality of the fact that this isn't the Chris Gethard show. So I really liked that a lot. She also has been frequently on the Roast Masters at the Stand in New York, where she faces off against some of the best that they have to offer.
Yeah, a lot of times she's like the climax of the show.
We're going to include a link to where she battled Pete Lee, where she won by just openly admitting how badly she needs to win this, which I think is a vulnerability any Gethhead will really, truly appreciate.
Yeah, no, we watched a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And she loses a lot of them. Like, she just loses a lot of them. Not because she's not a good comedian. It's just, it's a roast battle. I didn't know that people judged roast battles. I did not know that I knew nothing about roast battles. I only knew about celebrity roasts from Comedy Central until watching these. It's really cool. They like each get like time to diss each other, and then the judges will like judge in between rounds, and then you win. Whoever wins the most rounds wins.
Yeah. And I mean, the judge analysis was some of my favorite parts of it, because it was really interesting hearing when they go, "You are hilarious. You did great. But this person wins because XYZ." And so it was like really cool, because like every time when she didn't win, they were like, "You're hilarious.
Yeah.
You're great. You're one of my favorites." But they did this one thing that like killed it or whatever. And so it was interesting, because like frequently they're like, "She's one of the funniest comedians that we see, but she's always up against the other funniest comedians that we see.
But she keeps coming back. I think
Exactly.
that's so cool, is that like we watched her lose like a bunch of times, but she just came back every time and is just bubbly and excited. And she says how nervous she is like all the time. And then she just does the thing. And I'm like, oh, mentor me. No, don't. That's weird. But kinda.
I mean, it reminds me of like the Carrie Fisher quote too about just like do the thing anyway. Like,
Yeah, like be scared, do the thing anyway. She's Spider-Man. She always gets back
Oh
up.
yeah, the Spider-Man. When you mentioned the Spider-Man thing, I was just like, oh, that's it. That's exactly what she does.
Yup. So we watched another video of her from 2015 where she performs as Gilda Radner doing that Gilda Radner song, Let's Talk Dirty to the Animals. And it was just amazing. It was on this show called Shtick or Treat, which
happens every year, and it's on Halloween. So comedians dress up as other comedians and perform comedy in their style. Like I've seen, it's a great thing. It's a fun attempt to see comedians. Why did I say fun attempt? It's a fun way to see comedians sort of pay homage to people who have come before, and I really like it.
And it was a cool look into, like, Gilda Radner is clearly one of her influences and not something that I would have just picked out of the air, like, thinking about her. Probably because I didn't really know who Gilda Radner was.
She was an SNL cast member, like
Well,
part
I
of the
knew
original.
once we watched her.
But that's the thing. I mean, it's a good cut. Like, because sometimes it's people going up as like Louis or like Aziz, where it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Of course, like, yeah, that makes sense. I'd like to see that. But Gilda's a much deeper cut, and I really appreciate it. And it does seem like Gilda would be an influence on her persona.
Especially how Gilda mixed theatrical elements.
Totally.
The dancing and the, performing this and that. And that's where Christi came from.
That makes sense. I didn't even think about that extra layer.
Yeah. It's like an onion.
Yeah, I'm
Forrest.
just getting the onion skin, and you're really actually doing the deep work, the deep analysis.
Deep in the center of that onion, and I haven't even started crying yet, so.
Well, before you start
well.
crying, let's just move on to Comedy Crib Boy Band from 2016. Christi appeared in the episode Media Day as Julie, who's part of Julie and Drew and the Morning Crew. She was one of two hosts of a morning radio show who did the jokes you would expect from a morning radio show.
Yeah, just like being a unfunny, like super basic morning radio host. Like they have like the boy band, the titular boy band on, and they're like, "Which one of you's the prankster?" Ha 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 ha.
I loved that. That was so just like generic morning host. It was amazing. And then that sketch was written by Brett Davis, who hosts The Special and appeared on TCGS as the villainous Smith, and Julio Torres, who wrote for TCGS and co-created Los Spookies with Ana Fabrega, who was also in that.
Yeah, and Joe Firestone.
Yes, and Joe Firestone, the constitutional avenger from the erased 2016 election special. And then the directors of photography on that were Whit Conway and Max Rosen. And you might remember Whit Conway from our earlier CGP mini-sode about Carmen Christopher, because he shot Carmen's video, I'm Killing It.
The next thing that we wanted to highlight was the Battle of the Divas, which we haven't seen anything of because it's a live show in New York. So if you've seen this show, I don't know, tell us if you liked it. If you didn't like it, I mean, you can tell us if you want, but we probably won't like broadcast it.
I mean, I really want to see it if we go to New York, because in a 2017 Interrobang interview, Christi described it as, "We pit two pop culture divas against each other. Comedians debate, drag kings perform as the divas in question, and the audience votes which diva reigns supreme." That sounds just great. That sounds like a great show.
I mean, it sounds a lot like she's taking the comedy roast battles and being like, but theater.
She shouted that out actually in there as well. So you're right on her like wavelength with that. Because she said that it's basically if Roast Battle and Debate Club had a super gay baby. So it's funny that you brought that up because I didn't include it in the quote in the notes, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it feels very Christi.
It does. It does.
She was on Jeff Ross Presents Roast Battle in 2016, which was on Comedy Central. She was in the first one, Night One, and Road to Roast Battle, which I assume is like a mini doc about them getting prepped. Is that true? I don't know.
I mean, that would make sense. It would certainly make sense. Oh, it looks like episode 1 is Road to Roast Battle.
Well, she's in that one, and she's up against freaking Jimmy Carr, whose main joke was just like, ha ha ha, like, you have no career. It was a funny joke. It was a really well constructed joke.
No, it was a good joke. I also liked her joke about how he's so desperate to be American that he doesn't even pay his taxes, which was like, I mean, she did it better. I'm sorry, Christy, for telling that on the episode if it's a problem, but
it's really funny.
It's so good. It's such a brutal hit on Jimmy Carr. It's so good.
It's critical hit.
She was also in the comedy crib series Janice and Jeffrey, which we mentioned earlier, which was created by and starring Matteo Lane and Molly Merkel. Christy appeared in the episode Not a Cult, where she played the wife of the cult leader, who's played by Fuck This Shit's Aaron Jackson. For those who don't know, Fuck This Shit is the improv troupe which includes TCGS's Don Finelli and Drew Johnston. In that episode, the cult leader is trying to use Christy's character to trick Janice and Jeffrey into joining their cult by saying, hey, if you join, you'll have a hot sex life like me and my wife played by Christy. And her line delivery is so just like, yeah, uh-huh. Like it was that hesitance of like, I'm bullshitting you right now. None of this is true.
I mean, they could think it's true. Something I liked about the skit, without giving away like the whole deal with the cult, I think every person in that cult who is playing a person in a couple is an LGBT comedian.
Yeah. In terms of the ones you recognize, that was true.
Emma Williamson is in it.
Willman?
Emma Willman is in it. I love Emma Willman,
She's
despite
great.
my lack of ability to remember her name.
But the line deliveries were all so great. It's definitely check it out. It was a really nice short that I really liked.
Yeah. She performed on YouTube in 2017, The Passion of the Christ E, which was directed, shot, and edited by Christian Palenko and written by Christy. Apparently, so it's the story of when Jesus healed a guy with broken legs. Yeah. I don't know this story. She's apparently actually a Catholic, or was raised Catholic, according to Evan Williams on a roast battle. So that's where that comes from, and probably where the Jesus Christ stuff is going to come from in her special. That makes me really happy because I love it when people make fun of.
I think there were a few other references to it too.
Have fun with religion.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, the fact that she's pitching it as like this weird fusion of like horniness and religion is where I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a fun, weird show, and I'm really excited to see it. But after The Passion of the Christi, she was in Pinkalicious and Peterific as Baby Saffron in the episode Peter's Blues / Pink Raspberry, which we can't find available to watch anywhere.
Yeah, it's a kids show. Like it's
a straight up kids show. It's not like a
it's like a 2 to 5 year old kids show.
Yeah, it's like teaching vocabulary kind of kids show. It seems like.
Yeah, not like Cartoon Network level like age group.
Oh yeah, this isn't Teen Titans or anything. This is like
much younger individuals.
Like back in my day, it would have been on Nick Jr.
And then she does White Chocolate, which was in the New York Comedy Festival in 2018. We're gonna link to you just like a host set that they do. Lots of crowd work, lots of Christy being thirsty jokes, which I enjoyed.
The squeaky toy
the
joke
squeaky
that we
toy.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah. But the crowd work was really fun. She did really well this week. She took calls on the podcast, and she said she's never taken calls before. But Geth was like, it's kind of like crowd work, and she does a lot of crowd work and is very, very good at it.
And then, also in 2018, she did her cover of It Must Be Him by Vicky Carr. And
I don't know what this is. Is this just a song?
yeah, it's just a song. I didn't know it before watching her version, but it's a song from 1967 that she rewrote and made a lot better. Like, there's a line of, I tell myself, don't be a chump, who cares, let him stay away. And her rewrite of that line is just so much better.
I'll tell myself, Christi, don't be thirsty. Who cares? Just let him stay away. Well, she modernizes it. She has like her phone, you know.
No, yeah, I mean, it's modernized. It's an update. It's like an updated cover. It's great.
And I don't even know what a chump is, but I certainly know what being thirsty is.
Yeah, it's just so much clearer to us millennials.
She had a monologue called Who Would You Eat? Which is a monologue about being yourself, the falseness of dating, and being super self-deprecating. Did she write this monologue? Okay.
Yeah. This was all written by her, and it is amazing. I loved this monologue. It is like definitely watch it. It's on her YouTube and will be in the show notes.
Yeah. This is the line that I heard as I was walking by. Like, we're always taught to love ourselves and be who we are. But when I do that, I'm told that I'm too much. Which she highlighted in another story. She talked about an audition where she was just too much. There's just too much, which sounds like it's the perfect amount for the Chris Gethard Presents.
Exactly. And the monologue gets absurd. And it's like the absurdity that I totally think we'll see in Coochie Creek.
Oh, yeah.
But then in 2019, she did some crowd work at her live show, It's Christi Bitch.
I think that It's Christi Bitch also premiered in 2019, correct? Do we not know that? Well, it was great. She had people... She's like, clap your hands if you're a single person. Like, now clap if you're a dude and you're single. Now keep clapping if you can support me financially. And it's great.
She also like walks into the crowd and sees what she thinks is a couple, and then it turns out not to be, and does some great crowd work with those two.
Oh, yeah. Just giving people shit. She like looked around and did that thing that all people hate happening in comedy shows, except for me and Forrest, where they're like, who doesn't want to be fucked with? Like, I see you and I see you don't want to be fucked with. And I'm going to announce that to everyone. And now I'm going to fuck with you. And I'm like, yes.
Oh, yeah. No, I always love when comedians do that. Partially because I'm never the person who looks like I don't want to be messed with. So right? I'm just like, oh, if they want to do that, the antagonistic thing, I'm not the one that they often go to if they actually want to like mess with people who are looking like arms folded, sour faced.
And then she did Audition Story, which is most of these are just recordings at comedy clubs. So the audio quality, video quality isn't great in all of them.
But the comedy quality.
Top quality.
Notch.
Freaking amazing. I hope that she gets better recordings done of these because she deserves them. Audition Story, where she talks about where she auditioned for a lady giving birth to baby alien. That was the character's name. She came with her own alien. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. That's great.
Right? Like, who doesn't... Well, you can hear what the ending of that story was in my tone, and also if you watch the thing.
She did the I, Christi vlog #1 in 2019, which is a YouTube style vlog that it's really funny. It has the great line, I don't fuck with nature because the sun gave me cancer in 2011.
Which it did.
And that's a great reason to not be like a nature fan anymore.
Did she post any more of those?
No.
Well, she said she was going to post them like every week or two, and she only just recently posted that one, so there might be more.
Yeah, they could. There easily could be more coming.
Yeah, like more coming, not
Yeah.
more currently as we record this.
Yeah, no, it was really recent, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get more in the future.
Yeah. And of course, she was on Chris Gethard Presents the podcast on episodes 1 and 3, and she took questions about outer space in this latest one. Pretty great.
And then some of her upcoming shows in New York City are... She's going to open for Nicole Byer, who appeared on TCGS episodes, The Pop Brownie Roulette, but also significantly on Papa Gethard's Love Cauldron, which makes the whole Papa Geth thing like, hey, maybe don't. Chris, you named an episode of the show Papa Gethard's Love Cauldron.
I wonder if it's because of Christi. I wonder if she and Nicole Byer were already friends.
Oh.
And she was like behind the scenes on that show, being an influence on TCGS.
Maybe she was pulling the strings the whole time to orchestrate this joke.
Yes. She orchestrated the whole rise and fall of the Chris Gethard show so that Chris Gethard Presents could happen so that she could have a 1 episode stay on it.
Everything is proceeding as she has foreseen. But that show with Nicole Byer will be on July 11th, 12th, and 13th. So hop on getting those tickets once this goes up.
Oh, yeah. Those are like...
Yeah, it's real soon. And it's going to be at Comedy at the Carlson, and the ticket link will be in the show notes. And then It's Christy Bitch is going to come back on August 19th, 2019 at Joe's Pub. That's the show that's written, directed, starring everything. It's Christy's
It's a one-woman
show. And the link to get those tickets will also be in our show notes.
Yeah. You can also see, she also has up, which I thought was really interesting. She has her voiceover reel from 2014 up on her website and her acting reel from 2018.
I liked them a lot. I really like
Yeah.
seeing people's reels. It's really cool to get that sort of overview of everything, of some stuff that they've done.
It's cool. I mean, that's why I love that she has a whole website too, because it's cool to see what people are most proud of, like themselves, especially when they're entering a space like Chris Gethard's comedy, the space that he creates around himself, like a force field, where it's okay to fail and it's okay to make mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing wow, that was a lot of nonsenses right there. One thing I'm very excited about with Chris Gethard Presents is that it is that space where people can fail and just take ambitious swings that you might not want to take in a live comedy club, because that is a much more high stakes space. Yeah,
it makes me curious what It's Christy Bitch includes. Like, I wonder if she plays with, I know, because, you know, on MNN you can, I don't know, it's TV, so you can play with things like music and lasers, and I don't know if you can play with lasers.
You could probably play with lasers. I mean, you can rent them probably for not too much from a shop.
I don't know why lasers are my, like, cap of theatrical ambition for a comedy show. They have lasers and maybe even smoke machines.
Because Pink Floyd laser light shows are the peak of human achievement, and nothing will ever rival them. I mean, they made shapes in the sky.
This is true. Fight me.
I mean, I think we'll definitely see her playing with the fact that it's TV.
Yeah.
In interesting ways and using music, and I'm so curious how transcendent it will be.
Right? Okay, so I mean, this is basically all that we've been able to find of Christi online. Because, you know, she's a stand-up, not a producer editor like Mr. Keith Haskell with endless videos that we couldn't even get through.
Well, no, because there was so many of them.
Many.
They were not, we loved them.
Yeah, there were just a lot of them, and we're like, damn it, we need to record this thing. So yeah, that's basically what we have on her. So, I mean, Forest Keeper of the Canon, what do you predict is going to be on her show?
I predict that we will see the trinity of Britney Spears, there will be 3 different versions of Britney Spears. One will be the Father equivalent, the Son equivalent, and the Holy Ghost equivalent, and it'll be a whole church service about the greatness of Britney Spears.
So like, hit me baby one more time, Britney. Well, okay, so will it be that Trinity, or will it be the maiden, the mother, and the crone?
What?
The classic Trinity from mythology and religion. Is it in religion? Is that in any of the religions? The maiden, mother, crone.
It's not in Christianity.
Not in Christianity.
At least not how I learned it. I learned it very much that there's one Trinity, and it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. I also think it could be a Dawson's Creek parody.
Oh yeah.
Like,
because it's
Coochie Creek, Dawson's Creek. But I mean, like, but given what she said, I think it's going to be something much stranger, like a Britney Spears church. But when I first heard Coochie Creek, I was expecting a Dawson's Creek inspired send up. But I mean, it could be so many things because Britney Spears is such like creative fodder,
right?
But like, I mean, I don't know. Is it Poison era Britney Spears? Is it?
You mean Toxic?
Sure do.
I was like, am I getting this wrong, or are you getting this wrong?
It's me. Pop music is a big hole in my encyclopedic knowledge of pop culture.
So we have Hit Me Baby One More Time, Britney.
I know that one.
Toxic Britney, and current Britney, Mother Britney.
Or, Backroads? What was that? The movie? Crossroads. Or Crossroads Britney?
Maybe.
Because it could be film Britney, music Britney, and then like mogul Britney. I don't know, like a third Britney. I wonder if Chris Crocker will be on it.
Who's Chris Crocker?
The Leave Britney Alone guy.
Oh.
I wonder if she'll do something with that, because that's such an iconic Britney adjacent moment.
Right?
That I could totally see it.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think will happen?
So I have 2 predictions for this one. The first one is penises.
Oh, of course.
I think there's going to be a bunch of penises. I mean, honestly, of the 3 people that have been on, it is the most likely to be penises with Christi.
Honestly, I kind of feel like the odds of penises have increased week by week.
Yeah.
Like
penises.
Carmen, I didn't think so. Keith can do anything. So I'm not going to rule anything out with Keith.
He did cock cutters, for God's sake.
Exactly. He'd put a penis on the Chris Gethard show with Cock Cutters 3.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen.
No. My other prediction, aside from penises, just full frontal male nudity, like close-up focus on the penis, is based on...
I thought your second prediction was full frontal male nudity, so it was either penises or full frontal male nudity, but not both.
So I know that you mean like they would probably just put a censored bar over just the penis. No, it would just be a gap in reality where the penis is. Yeah, that's what I was hoping
Okay,
for.
no, actually, yours is cooler.
A gap in reality?
I thought it was going to be a Cock Cutters reference is what you were predicting.
Oh, so it would be...
a severed penis or the...
either a disembodied penis or men with intact penises.
Yeah, or like... I thought it'd be like I think it'd be like a penis or like a cis person, but like a Ken doll. not a cool tear in the fabric of space time. That's a much better idea than what I had.
Okay, well, either that or thanks to Evan Williams.
That was the name that you said.
That was the name that I said.
Yeah, it's Evan Williams.
Yeah. He asked if she was gonna play Katy Perry's vagina. Because that's what her voice sounds like. And so now I just really want to see her be the vaginas of various celebrities. Like, voice the vaginas of all of those celebrities. Right? Wouldn't that be incredible?
So no, my brain's just broken right now.
Because that would be so awesome. I want her to like play as Britney's vagina. Like,
well, because I immediately...
you know how much stuff that vagina would have to dish on like all of these like crazy things?
I immediately went to like trying to visualize what it would like. Would it be like a full on like mascot suit of the vagina?
So like
with like her face coming out of it?
Suits.
Or would it be like a claymation vagina or a CGI vagina?
Or like the Janelle Monáe vagina pants? from her music
I mean,
video,
that would be the
Pink.
most practical one.
Yeah. But then I want her to have a costume change for all of the different vaginas she's portraying, because no two vaginas are alike. And vagina diversity is wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, now that we've gone completely off the rails, Christi Chiello, she's going to be on Chris Gethard Presents this Wednesday, July 10th at 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Western Standard Pacific time, specifically Pacific time. And we're really excited to see her. You can see her at chrisgeth.com/live. Tell all your friends, look at the chat. So, okay, no, explain the chat, because I've already linked out this show to a bunch of my friends who have not seen the Chris Gethard show or know anything about the public access. And
Sure.
I'm like, do you see the chat? And they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm not in the chat. Forrest is.
Okay.
And I just read it.
So now it's time for Keeper of the Canon's Tech Support Corner. So if you point your browser to chrisgeth.com/live and scroll down to see the video, the live stream, there's a little speech bubble in the upper right-hand corner. Click that. It opens the chat. I agree with you. Just going to say it out loud right now. Not where the chat button should be. Should be much more clearly marked than it is.
But check out
that's
the
what it
chat.
is.
It's really fun. Chris was in it last time.
And
a
so
lot
was
of the people from the show.
Banana Man was in it last time.
Jersey Dave.
Jersey Dave was in it. Rob Malone, the world's greatest dancer, was in
Yeah.
it. Connor Ratliff was briefly in it.
Yeah.
Like it's been blowing up recently, and I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think we're gonna get necessarily as many people when it's live again, just because they're in the studio.
Yeah.
But definitely stop by. It's great. The head of social media for CGP is there, Bryson, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're all really nice, and they all have really funny commentary, and it's really interesting to see, because like at least in the last one, Geth was putting down like, I hated this sketch, or like, I told him not to put this in, I don't think it's funny. And so of course everyone else is like, it's the funniest thing, because this is the Chris Gethard show.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was great having Geth there, and also just hearing all the behind the scenes stories from Keith about like, oh, we did this way, or like, oh, this is where we had to cut like a whole extra bit about this cherry candy.
Yep. All
also,
right.
Bill Meeks is there, who listens to
Oh.
the show and likes us. So
Yeah.
hello, Bill.
Thank you, Bill Meeks. Thank you so much. I was about to be like, we've already taken up 45 minutes of these good people's time. We need to get off. But thank you so much, Bill. If you are listening, it's okay if you're not. It's okay if you've stopped listening already and will never listen to us again. We appreciate you, like, so much.
Yes, we truly do.
All right. Now that we've taken up 45 minutes of these good people's time, stop listening to us and listen to Chris Gethard do things. Listen to Christi Chiello. Check her out on youtube.com/the Chiello. Find her on Instagram. Find her on other social medias at Christi Chiello. That's ChristiChiello. EIEIO. And sometimes Y.
Can we just cut the bullshit